Hi, this is Richard Harvey, the Creative Warrior, and I'm here to introduce my awesome friend, Martin Espino. I'm to talk with him today about how mindful awareness has influenced him. I will tell everybody that we have collaborated on creative projects, and that's how we initially met. And it's been a great experience for me, and I've learned a lot. So I'm hoping that you'll get a chance to learn how he's grown through mindful awareness. Want to get us started, Martine?
Yeah, good afternoon, and hello, everybody. I'm basically a musician, so I play live and play online. I'm an educator. I call myself a cultural educator because there's so much missing that's just not with the music. It's you have to add. You can't talk about the music without talking about the culture and the history and geography and the language and the foods, and it gets all that, especially when you have time, like when I do residencies in schools and stuff. And so that's part of the educational thing I do with adults and kids.
You said you're a cultural educator.
Mm.
Can you tell a little bit about what cultures you help people learn about, please?
Well, the one I know about is Native America. I teach particularly about my culture, which is ancient Mexico, and so many of the things that we do that now come from those times. Even the foods, um, yeah, there's a lot of beautiful things and a lot of funny things, and a lot of sad stuff too. Oh God. So I hope I answered that one right. Yeah. So I had to include a lot of things. One of the reasons to answer that even better, Richard, is that when I'm in schools, um, I've learned to cover everything. Because they're not covering it really, or they do cover it, but then just a few of them are doing it. There's places where they don't cover it at all. You know, I mean, it meaning a whole lot of things about cultures.
Let me bring us back to mindful awareness and how you got into it, because you're doing this wonderful work now, and you don't mind sharing about your childhood a little bit. How did you find mindful awareness?
When I was 11, I was going to. This is funny because I know you know this. I was in Catholic school, so I'd get out at 3 o'clock and I'd come home and make it just in time to watch this weird show where it was like all dark and there was a lady sitting with her legs crossed and she had her hands like this and she was going Yanaki. To this day, I still never looked up what that word means. Yanaki. That's weird. But I liked strange things or things out of the ordinary, so I was obviously attracted to it because I was already watching science fiction and strange B movies from the 50s because my brother got me into it.
Mhm.
Which later on I found out just recently that it was my mom that got him into it and got me into it. So that's really important to me. Because my mom, she dug that stuff. And it was all the way from the strange sounds, the sine waves, and the white noise that the spaceships made, and all that stuff like that. And so when I saw somebody sitting down chanting, I thought this is not too much different than what I've seen already on the Outer Limits, and Twilight Zone, all this, the moods, the different kind of mood it was. And this show, they never, to what I remember, they never explained anything about what they were doing. It was some kind of a yoga meditation show. And I remembered a voice over the screen going, relax your feet. And this is what based all my meditations on. Relax your toes, relax your feet. Constantly breathe. Breathe in and out through your nose. Relax your legs, relax your thighs, relax your stomach, relax your heart and your lungs, and slow your breathing down. Doesn't that sound like meditation? And they never explained why. They just were saying that. And then they would go all the way to, when I do it live, I say let it go from your heart to your mouth, not from your heart to your head, because your head might go, wow, I'm kind of embarrassed sitting here looking. Is anybody looking at me? I say let it go from your heart and let it go straight to your mouth, and then exhale all that and relax. And that's how I do that. And I used to watch that show all the time, and I found myself doing some of this. And the funny part is my mom never came in the room going, ¿Qué estás haciendo? ¿Qué es esa cosa rara? What are you doing? What is that? That's weird. Mother, she never, now that I think, it was just weird. They never came in. I was watching in the front room, and she'd be up there making tortillas, and I could hear her, doing the tortilla things and making the food. And here I was watching a meditation program, and I was going to Catholic school. They could have said, "Don't watch that. That's another religion." My mother and father weren't that way. Then after one time I left it on. I think I left it on, and I was started to do some homework, and I forgot to turn the TV. Something like that. And this guy starts coming on and talking. This English guy, and he starts saying these wonderful things. I went, "Wow, who's this guy?" And my name is Alan Watts. And it was Alan Watts that used to speak right after Yannicki. And so I started watching the Alan Watts show, and I started going out and buying, checking the books out of the library, the art of Zen and all that things. And I was already questioning all these things long time before that, It wasn't just the 60s that brought it out, it was me. It came out of me, a desire to check the beyond.
How old were you?
Well, I started meditating when I was 11, so I was probably already watching this when I was 9 or 10. But definitely by 11, that's kind of like the age that's when I started playing music. So I must have, I know it was right around that time, because I had a real spiritual relationship with music. I still do.
Definitely.
Back then it wasn't. I'm cool now if people, "Oh, Martin, you're so spiritual," and I'm like, been that way forever. I mean, it's like saying you're so one part of yourself. I go, no, there's like several parts. There's mental, there's physical, and there's spiritual, and whatever else that I might have left out. I'm not just one thing. And but it's so funny because we're so lacking in spirituality that when you see or hear something I might say or the way I play music, you go, "Wow, this guy's like, he's from somewhere else." No, I'm a Mexican kid from South Central on 81st Street, who watched the riots, and my brother would pick me up and show me the buildings burning, and that's where I came from, and but somehow I questioned reality, questioned the here and now and what was existing and the doctrines of the day. And I found out as time goes on, as most of you out there all know, is that a whole lot of people started doing that when they started, it took them on their path when they started questioning. It was really interesting when I read about the ancient Mexica, or the mistakenly called the Aztecs, that the people that they would choose to become priests or like shamans, or for lack of a better word, getting tired of that word, but they would pick kids usually, that were what would they say? Kids that were concerned with what was above and what was below. In other words, questioning the universe. And those are the perfect ones to bring in and show them what to do. Crazy, huh? Yeah,
Makes
so that's
sense.
what got me into that. All that those two shows, that thing with Alan Watts, and when I was playing music, and at the same time I'm 11, right? So I'm being told, close the garage door, take the trash out, pick up the dog, take him in the yard, lock the gate, and then I wouldn't do something, and my dad might say, "Martin, you're supposed to do that." "Oh, I forgot." "How can you forget?" "Okay, Dad, I'll do it," and I do it, right? And then you start learning that chores are, "Oh, I gotta wash the dishes. Oh God, I gotta lock the gate. Okay, I'll be back in a minute. I gotta hang up the phone." And Alan Watts took things like chores. When you have chores, make them into a music. And at that time, I'm learning music, so I thought, wow, music pleases me so much.
Wow, that's cool.
If I turn everything, yeah, he said it at the right place at the right time when I'm learning. So I turned everything into a music. All my schoolwork, and that right about that time, um, a little while later, that stuff sunk in, and I started applying it to my schoolwork, and I was doing like F and D, and all of a sudden I graduated with a B plus. I applied myself because of all those things. When I went to college,
Wow. Wow,
yeah,
that's very instructive.
when I went to college and I played classical guitar, I'd sit in my room going, ding, ding, to make sure that when I struck the string with my index, that when I struck it with my middle, it would sound the same. So that when I played fast, instead of dun 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 dun, like hard, hard soft, hard soft, hard soft, hard soft. I really worked on my ears, and I basically meditated for 6 hours, just playing the note and then speeding it up until I got speed like that. And I learned a lot. That helped me get through everything. That's what get me. To me, that's what got me through graduating with honors.
Why do you think you stuck with it over all these years
Because
it's
it's a natural condition to be able to it's in a like if you sneeze, you sneeze, you put your hand up here, or you go or you try not to make too much noise. You make that adaptable so that you're acceptable within a group, or you want to pick up something from can I move this, is this yours? We learn these social things that we do, and I think meditation is just another one of those things that we do, if not just like by a social thing, but by an automatic a part of existence, that we have to at some point sit down and do a self-reflection. We have to sit down and recharge. Just like I think I need a quick nap. Let me close my eyes just for a second, okay? Just give me a second. Okay.
and
Sometimes
in
you can
that
do it that quick.
second, let's go to that second for a minute. And what is, are you thinking, or are you
Nope.
observing, or what is that second? What is that?
Meditation has turned me since I was 11, right? Because I'm 65. Meditation has told me to do this. Your screen's gone. Everything blank. Everything shut off.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I can shut it off like that if I need to.
For those people who might be concerned about this, do you think meditation is religion, or is it
No.
just a good, good?
It's like saying, "Oh, when I go to sleep at night, I recharge my battery." Wait, is that religious?
Uh,
No, it's sleeping.
yeah.
What about relaxing when I want to recharge and get my? Is that religion? No. Well, if you apply religion to it, then it becomes religious. But like I said, I think it's a natural condition for us to that we need to get back. That we need to that we should all be able to sit down, shut up, like Alan Watts said. We need to shut up and all the noise off, just so we can stop and make a good decision eventually, or just stop. Like I got to talk about that one thing that he said. He said, if you're going into meditation thinking you're going to make yourself better, you're doing it for the wrong reason. You're doing it so that you can just learn to stop the noise, because the noise gets in the way of everything. It makes you, well, they're pressuring me. I got to make a decision. I go, you know what? You're pressuring me or whatever. Stay back. I'm going to go off on my own. I'm not going to think about this shit. And let me think about it later. Right now, I'm not going to think about it. Turn off. Come back later, and my thinking's a little clearer. And then, so funny, you read later on what the benefits of meditation is that when you do that, when you learn to be in this here and now, mindfulness, whatever you want to call it, it's like when you learn to be in this here and now, you learn to you learn to shut off things, and somehow it's like a river, and you're standing in the river, and you could feel the water of the river pushing you along, but you don't want to get pushed, so you suddenly stop the river, and you don't feel the water pushing on you, and you cross, and you're on land, and you turn the river back on, and you're back in this world.
I really appreciate it, especially what you're
Thank
talking
you.
about, the music, making music, and then going back to how that relates to the, when you were in college and practicing, and it seems like you could apply that to anything in life. In terms of young people, how they can benefit from it now and in the circumstances that they're in, since you've been through this, you started off young, but I mean, what would you want to share with them, knowing what you know about what they've been through? I mean, there's a lot of people have just been traumatized in the last year. They already probably had a lot of trauma, so many of them, but now especially, it's that's one thing so many people are sharing in common. And what would you want to share from your experience that?
Learn who you are, then learn where you're from, and then learn where other people are from, so you can make a comparison, and you'll see how much alike we are, that there's not much of a difference. Get hip, be aware. Jeez. You know, if anything, we can get mad about is somebody else not being aware. Come on, man, wake up. Do some meditation. Learn about yourself. You know, read a book. Yeah. What are books? The world is sound. Everything is sound that's around us. Everything makes a sound. If you don't hear it, it makes some kind of a sound. And just because we don't hear it, doesn't mean it doesn't exist. You know. So I like sounds that are intentional. I always walk into with this kind of music I'm going to do right now. Very, very relaxing, and that's all there is to it. Shall I do this?
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you. Did you build that?
Hmm?
Did you build that, the instrument?
No, that was made by my friend Nashtavewa.
Uh,
He's I always like to say this. He's a Zapotec native from Oaxaca. Where does he live? Over in Mission Viejo.
uh, if people want to find out about the instruments that you make or the music, I mean, how can they look you up? Thanks for taking some time and talking about this.
Oh, you're welcome.
Really grateful.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Just thank you for asking me too. Just period, which I appreciate that, man. It means a lot to the mission that I'm on. To do things, you know, trying to make some kind of effect. Sometimes it gets real lonely out there, you know,
Mhm.
because I don't do booty music, you know, and you know, things like I don't mind any of that, but I mean, it's like That's not what I do my work on. You can always find me by just Googling my name, Martin, and it's not spelled with an E at the end. That's a French woman's spelling. It's Martin, and the last name is Espino, Espino. And if you speak Spanish, I always say, no es Espinosa porque es otra cosa. I say that because people go, Martin Espino? Okay, Martin Espinosa. I didn't say that. Martin Espino. That's why I say no es Espinosa porque es otra cosa. It's another thing. It's another thing. Yeah, and my website's martinespino.com, at YouTube and at Facebook. The handle there at the end, like, youtube.com, facebook.com / then you put Martin Espino Music, and the same thing on Facebook, Martin Espino Music, and you'll find me there. A lot of videos, and hope to come to your television screens and give you some sound. And many blessings to everybody. Same to you, Richard, and thank you for doing what you're doing, because you're opening the pathways up.
Thank you. Thanks for co-creating that process.